So I thought I would come to you today and do a favorites video for fall and winter. I doubt that my favorites are going to change much over the next month or two. So I've decided to go ahead and do winter early and fall late, all at one time. I have quite a few things to show you. I've decided my favorites videos are a lot more fun when I incorporate things that are not just products. So there's going to be all kinds of favorite stuff in here, which is kind of funny. I thought I'd go ahead and show you this first. Can you bring me that, sweetie? That hair dryer. I thought I'd show you this first. I wore my hair pin straight today because I blow dried it with my new hair dryer from Irresistible Me, and I thought I would go ahead and show this to you in my favorites video because it's by far one of my favorite things I've been using for about a month now. I have never had a good quality hair dryer because I don't really blow dry my hair that often, so I've just used a very simple hair dryer with literally a warm and cool setting that you get for 10 bucks at Walgreens or whatever. But this is a fantastic dryer. They sent this to me to review for y'all, and I did a review along with the demonstration earlier. I am very awkward with the brush and the hair dryer because I never ever do it. I used to do it exclusively back in the 90s when I wore my hair straight all the time, but I haven't done it in a long time, so it felt very awkward. Either way, you can see it really leaves a beautiful shine when you use it. It's got the ionic and the infrared setting. So I'm going to link below the video that I'm doing for that once it's up. It might come up after this one, so come back and check at this one if you want that link, or you can just check my channel homepage and you'll see it. But it'll be the Irresistible Me Onyx hair dryer review. You can get this through the link that will be on that review, and I believe there's a discount coupon code that you can also use to get a good discount. I think it's a 10% discount. But this is by far one of my favorite things that I've been using for about a month now. And like I said, I don't blow dry my hair very often, maybe once a week, but it makes a huge difference in how your hair looks after you blow dry it, because I've had some issues with weighing down based on well water, but it's not, I feel like it just feels lighter and airier when I use the hair dryer. So this is one of my favorites. I don't know if y'all are familiar with the Snow Angel lotion from Philosophy. This comes out at Christmas time, and I bought this last year. I've been using it basically all year, but it's my favorite in the wintertime because I don't know how this is possible, but it does kind of capture the scent of freshly fallen snow, but it doesn't smell like snow because snow doesn't really have a smell. Don't ask me to explain that. It smells cold and it smells wonderful. It smells sort of floral, but really just very, very clean. It smells so good. And I love it. It's one of my very, very favorite lotions to use, especially in the wintertime. But they release this only at the holidays, so you can always get the gift sets probably really cheap right now because the holiday sets are probably not been sent back yet. But yeah, this is an amazing lotion, and I've been using this regularly for about a year. I got it last winter. This is the Gold Bond Ultimate Healing with Aloe Lotion. It says it's packed with 7 moisturizers, 3 vitamins, whatever. It helps heal dry and problem skin. And I have some kids who get dry, scaly spots like on their legs and stuff, especially in the wintertime. But this really helps with that. And it's a great hand lotion. It's just, you have to use hardly any. So the Gold Bond regular medicated lotion I'm not as crazy about, but this Ultimate Healing Therapy Cream is amazing at wintertime. So yeah, use this. Put it on your feet. A couple of lipsticks. The lipstick I'm wearing right now is gorgeous. It's a dark terracotta matte lipstick from MAC. It's the only lipstick from MAC I have ever bought. Yes. No, wait. Yes. The only one. No, I bought So Showed. I forgot about that. I love orange lips. But this color is awesome. This is Chilly. It's beautiful. It's super pretty. It is a matte, but a very comfortable matte. I hate liquid mattes typically because I feel like they're very uncomfortable. This one is not. It is fantastic. And it lasts forever. And it's the most gorgeous deep terracotta color. And I use it with a terracotta lip liner that I have from Clarins, and I just feel like it's like the perfect autumn lip. So I tend to love warm tones in the wintertime and fall, so this is a perfect one for that. And then I also have loved for years and years the Carnal lipstick from the Pure Color Envy by Estee Lauder, this lipstick. Carnal is an orange red. It's similar to Red Hot Red from Besame, if you've ever used that. Has a similar smell to the Besame. It smells sort of caramelly, vanilla-y. But it's fantastic. And I'm such a sucker for the packaging in Estee Lauder lipsticks because of the magnet. But no, I really, really seriously love this lipstick. It might be one of my all-time favorite reds. That's what it looks like. And that is not true to color at all. It looks more orange on camera than it does. It's definitely not as orange as the chili. And it's also not a matte. So, big fan of no matte. Foundation that I am loving right now is the Even Better Glow from Clinique. It gives you a highlight without adding a highlight. And it is gorgeous coverage. This is by far my favorite foundation from Clinique that they've ever had. So Even Better Glow, it's a highlighting foundation with really great coverage. And the color Cream Chamois is like perfect for me. Cream Chamois is a very fair neutral, or it might be a very fair golden. No, it's a neutral. CN40 is the number, so it's a neutral. But this is fantastic foundation. It has a really pretty sheen finish without looking too glittery or shiny. And like I said, I feel like I don't have to wear a highlight at all. And I love it coupled with this blush. This is a blush that I am obsessed with right now. I use it every single day. You can see it here. It is Nude Pop by Clinique. This is one of the cheek pops. But as you can see, it is hardly any color to it. I didn't even give it a time of day whenever it first came out because it doesn't look like it would have any color to it at all. Like none. It's so pale. And when you put it on your hand, it's like it doesn't even show up at all. But for some reason, you stick it on a brush and you put it on your cheekbones, it's beautiful. And I have never seen on Caucasian skin this not be a gorgeous shade. So it comes off almost like a peachy bronze when you put it on, but it's such a natural, beautiful blush. So this is by far my favorite blush right now. And as you can see, I've already well down into the pan because the little flower design is gone. But by far my favorite Clinique blush that I've ever tried. And then my one mascara here, this is the High Lengths mascara from Clinique. I don't think I've ever showed this to y'all before, but this has got like that 1930s traditional mascara brush. Do you see this? And I know there's other mascaras that have this kind of brush, but it's kind of cool. It's got tiny, tiny little nylon bristles, and you basically just use it to lengthen. And I feel like it does lengthen, but it also, because it covers every lash so well with that little comb, it also thickens. So I really like it. I think it's a fantastic mascara. And I use it on the bottom lashes too, but you do have to kind of finagle that little brush and get it on the bottom lashes without getting it all over your face, which is really difficult to do. So you may want to stick with the bottom lash mascara for that, but it's really, really a fantastic mascara. Might be my favorite Clinique mascara. I especially like to layer it over the Lash Power mascara. The Lash Power is the one that's got the 24-hour wear that is still water rinsable, but I like it underneath this or over this. So I don't know, it's a toss-up. I finally obtained the Modern Renaissance palette. So yes, this has been around forever and ever and ever. It came out over a year ago, I believe, but it is the best palette. I love this palette. And I was really kind of sold on the Naked Heat palette whenever it came out recently because I love warm tones, but I realized after I obtained this finally, and it was a gift, the reason I didn't have it before is I just didn't want to shell out the money for it. I just admired it and played with it when I was at work. But a friend of mine wanted to trade because she was never using hers, so we traded. And this is all the colors, as you know, and have seen 10 million times. I did this look with it. It's like just the browns and peaches, which is what I tend to use the most of. I love the oranges, the browns, and the peaches. And I love Vermeer. Vermeer makes a gorgeous face highlight. I honestly think Vermeer is a better face highlight than anything they have in their glow kits. I have tried every single color in every glow kit, and there are a lot of them from Anastasia, but the Vermeer eyeshadow to me is their prettiest highlight. So that's my personal feelings on that. And yes, I play with it all the time. But we had a hot pink and black day at work, and I did just a look with the hot pink colors and the browns, and they look so pretty together. And if you watch Jordan Liberty at all, I think he is the one who actually did the ad campaign for this palette, and the look that he did, He explains it very clearly on his channel, and I recreated that look. It is a beautiful look. And he uses, I think, mainly the antique bronze, a little of the love letter, and then I think the cypress umber or the warm taupe. He doesn't use a whole lot of the colors, but it's a really beautiful kind of pinky, smoky eye. All right, so I'm done with products now, and I'm going to move over to other weird stuff. Boots. These are my Bait footwear boots. I bought these last year. I forget what they're called, but they look like this. Miss Victory Violet wears them. They are the most comfortable boots. I can wear these all day at work, and I never have to worry about my feet hurting. And I wear them every time. Now, the one thing I had to do is I had to buy some little short black socks to go underneath them, and I pushed the socks down inside the boot so you can't see them. But what that did is it prevented the top of the boot, because my legs are skinny, it prevented the top of the boot from rubbing the top of my leg. So I'll tend to wear tights with, because they're great for winter. I tend to wear tights along with those black socks kind of pushed down, and then I wear the boots on the top, and you can't tell that I'm wearing socks really. But fantastic with circle skirts, really, really great with like a pencil skirt, and even great with pants and slacks and all that good stuff. So these boots have been my lifesaver this winter. Now I just need a really beautiful winter coat. Speaking of socks, I found these hot socks at Dillard's the other day, and I've been wearing them nonstop because why not? These are Norman Rockwell socks. Everybody knows this print. Aren't these adorable? I'm wearing some right now too. Hold on, I'll show them those to you. Do y'all remember the print of the little girl watching her sister get ready for a dance? I love Norman Rockwell. So when I saw that there were Norman Rockwell socks at work, I was like, yay, Norman Rockwell socks. So yes, love these. And they were on sale for $2.80 on the first. So if y'all have a Dillard's near you and you didn't shop the New Year's Day sale, you're crazy. Okay, next thing is candles. Marshmallow Fireside from Bath & Body Works is seriously the most amazing candle ever. I do not like food smells, candles that smell like food, or those little wax melts that smell like food, typically like the pumpkin spice ones and stuff, but this candle smells fantastic, and it smells like wood and smoke. It smells just like marshmallows, like toasting marshmallows. It's still got the sweetness and the vanilla kind of smell, so that kind of goes against my original like aversion to food smells, but there's so much of that wood spicy scent in it that it's fantastic. And when it burns, it smells the whole house up. I love it so much. And then the same goes for, because I'm obsessed with patchouli. I love patchouli. My husband used to wear patchouli oil when we were dating, and so I naturally have this comfort feeling whenever I smell that smell. So patchouli oil by itself, I don't wear that by itself. It's not really my favorite for me. But smelling it like burning in my house, like patchouli incense or a patchouli candle, nothing comes close. It smells just like a tree. And some people hate the smell of patchouli. It reminds them of hippies and stuff like that, but but I love it. And I absolutely love burning it when I'm taking a bath. So this is the patchouli candle from Bath & Body Works. One of the 3-wick candles. And those were both gifts, which is very sweet because I was actually going to go buy them, and then I got them as a gift, which I really appreciated. Just a just because gift. Next, I have a game. This game was a gift from my sister-in-law. She sent it to me a while back, and it took us a while to finally get around to playing it. But we love board games, and we love to play Monopoly and Trivial Pursuit and stuff like that. But we really like shorter games that don't take forever. Generally, if you're playing Monopoly or Trivial Pursuit and you have, you know, just a couple hours to play, you're never going to finish. You usually have to either do the shortened version of the game or just keep the game going over the course of a while. Ticket to Ride is the game, and it is so fun. It has this map that you play, and you get these little individual train cars, and you basically use some little, you know, different methods to map out a course across the country, and whoever has the most points at the end of the game wins. But you keep score. You don't keep score on paper. You keep score on a little track around the edge of the game. So it's really, really easy to play in more of a tight space and easy to travel with, and it goes pretty fast. So it's a game you can play with, I think, up to 6 people. Yeah, you can play it with up to 6 people, and it's 5 people. So you can play with up to 5 people, and it goes pretty fast. I think we played it in less than 2 hours, so it was actually one that we kept going, you know, until we were completely finished, but we still played pretty quickly. And basically whoever has the most points at the end wins. I thought at first it would be hard, but it's really not. So I'm probably gonna play this today because we're home. I wanted to also share my favorite cat litter. This is the cat litter you get at Target, and I have 2 cats. I have tried every single possible cat litter that you can think of, from the most expensive to the least expensive. And the thing that I was running into with almost all of them is stuff sticking to the bottom of the cat pan, so you have to actually scrape it when you're getting the scoops out. And I don't think I've even tried a single one that doesn't do that. And I don't know if my cats are just weird cases or if that's normal, but this one does not do that. It is a very fine grit. It just said scented clumping cat litter for multiple cats. It's $6 something. It's pretty cheap for a cat litter, and it lasts a pretty long time. I used 2 different boxes, and it completely comes off. It just slides right off. So you know that Arm & Hammer like slide cat litter that's pretty expensive? I think it's like $9. That one didn't even do it for me, but this one does it every single time. And my cats also don't have an aversion to it, which can tend to happen with some cat litters. As you know, they'll just start using beside the litter box. But this is the best cat litter. So if y'all have cats, try this out. It was like a lifesaver for me. And last but not least, I'm gonna just tell you a few favorites media-wise. I've been listening to podcasts lately on my way to work. I don't really listen to the radio much anymore or music much anymore, which I know is awful. I listen to music a lot at home, but I don't tend to listen to a lot of music in my car anymore because I'm so stuck on podcasts right now. But the one that I really am stuck on is the Gilmore Guys podcast. Heather from How to Be Fancy is the one who mentioned it in her recent favorites video. And that podcast makes me laugh so hard because I am a diehard Gilmore Girls fan. I've watched it over and over. I've watched that series over and over. And it is so funny listening to 2 just completely straight guys talk about Gilmore Girls, because one of them is really emotional and invested in it because he's been following it his whole life. His name's Kevin. And then the guy, Demi, that follows it has never watched it before. So he's a first timer, and they call each other Gillies, and it's so funny. But they have guests on there. I mean, Jason Mantzoukas is on there. I think Gillian Jacobs is on there. There's all these great comedians that guest on the show, and some of them are new to the Gilmore Girls and some of them have been following it for years, so it's really funny listening to people come in and review one episode when they've never seen any of the rest of the series. But yeah, they sing the theme song at the end, and it's hilarious. So I'm kind of sad that I wasn't around when it was actually going, because I think it started in 2014. But it's a great podcast and I'm really into it. I think I'm only up to season 2.5. I've been watching Call the Midwife. I think it's one of the best shows I've ever seen. I love it. I'm on season 5. I think that each episode is so beautifully encapsulated and it's so well rounded, each episode. The characters are great. I love Vanessa Redgrave's narration, and it's a show that it took me a long time to get around to, but I love the fact that it's late 50s, early 60s in a very poor part of London. Because it definitely, I feel like, captures the era really well, but it also captures the challenges that midwives and other medical staff had to go through at that very, very pinnacle time in history, whenever medical science was really kind of coming into its own, and they were coming into a lot of new technology in that regard. So Call the Midwife, if you haven't seen it, definitely watch that. I've been watching regularly This Is Us. It pulls me in every time. It's great. It's a great show, but I'm not going to recommend it because some people hate it. It's a very schmaltzy family drama. It's very manipulative and it makes you cry every episode, but I'm into it. I really, really love it. And I'll follow it pretty closely. I think all the characters are great. My favorite character is probably Kevin, because he's the most flawed. I don't really think that there's any really true-to-life characters in the stories. I feel like it is, like I said, a very manipulative show, and it's very well written, and I feel like it's very well rounded also of a show. But I think there are certain characters that are a little bit more heroic, and as much as I love the fact that Jack seems to be such a great person, I also feel like that I'm more drawn to the ones that are more flawed and are trying to work on things, and that to me is Kevin. I'm also loving vintage game shows. Amazon Prime has got a whole series of vintage game shows on there now, and it is so fun to watch old episodes of the Match Game and Password and Card Sharks and all that stuff. So if you have never seen any of the 1970s game shows with their crazy sets, please go and watch them, because they are so entertaining, and my kids actually love them too. And they make fun of, you know, clothes and hairstyles and stuff like that. I finished watching the last series that's available on Netflix of the Great British Baking Show. It's one of my all-time favorite relaxing shows. I love it. I will turn it on when I'm eating, like on my days off, and just kind of relax to it, because there's something just really relaxing about the way that show is put together. And I'm also just love anything having to do with baking or cooking. I miss Iron Chef, the original Iron Chef, so bad, but it is not really available anywhere. So I feel like the Great British Baking Show, even though it's nothing like Iron Chef, for some reason it kind of fills that void. But I don't like the American one so much. What is it about British shows that make me so much more attracted to them? I all feel like they're classier and, oh, Lord forbids I say less vulgar. But, I mean, they have their little off-color humor that they make, but there's something a little bit tighter and more elegant about the Great British Baking Show as opposed to the American one. I don't like it as much. And finally, I know everybody by now has seen the latest season of Stranger Things. There were things about it that I loved even more than the original series. I feel like it is the most perfectly depicted representation of the 80s I've ever seen. I was there, I lived it. I played Dragon Slayer, that game, that animated game that's at the beginning, or Dragon Quest, I forget what it's called. But I played that game, and them dressing up like the Ghostbusters for Halloween and all of the little E.T. references. There's so many little E.T. references that are just so brilliant and so exquisitely placed. The only episode I didn't care for, I think, was the episode involving 8. And if you've seen the series and you're familiar with it, you know that 8 was one of the things that really drew us in that first pilot episode of the season, because we were like, ooh, there's more of her. But I didn't like the episode where she came across 8 and spent some time with her and ended up with that crazy, like, lead singer of the Damned styling. I just didn't dig that episode. I felt like it was way too disconnected from the rest of Hawkins and everything that goes on there. And I am a diehard Steve fan. I think he is the best character on the show. I also love Dustin, so I love the little Ducky tribute at the end of the series. It had so many Goonies elements to it. It was just wonderful. And why? Why did Bob? Why? It's just strange. I'm sorry, I won't spoil it, but Bob, seriously, that was a great character, and I loved him. So I was not too happy with the way things turned out for Bob. But yeah, I was a huge fan of the show. I'm a huge fan of this past season. I think the past season may have been in some ways better than the first season, but the first season, of course, is what drew us in, so it's hard for me to ever, you know, get past that as being one of the best, you know, series presentations of all time. But yeah, so Stranger Things, Call the Midwife, Great British Baking Show, all that good stuff. I love TV. So yeah, as far as movies go, I haven't really seen any movies that I feel like I need to spout off about. Movies have been such kind of like a side thought for me lately. I've just been watching a lot of stuff that I've already seen, so I haven't really tried to watch anything super new. Still haven't seen Star Wars. I'm shocked that I haven't seen it yet, but it's really just been a matter of getting 6 people to the movie theater, which is quite an undertaking. I need to get to it. But anyway, let me know if you have any comments or thoughts about any of the stuff in this video, and I'm sorry it was so long, but I'm just gonna have to try to piece it together and make it a little less chaotic. Anyway, talk to you later. Bye.